On this edition of the Quest for 9 Report, the Indiana Hoosiers head up to Grand Park for the Big Ten Tournament semifinals against Ohio State. Welcome into the Quest for 9 Report. I'm Josh Eastern. Well, the Hoosiers are moving on to the Big Ten Tournament semifinals after a 1-0 victory over Penn State on Monday. It was moved to Monday from Sunday because of inclement weather in the area. Nonetheless, the Hoosiers will be up at Grand Park on Friday to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Should be an interesting matchup between the 2 seed and the 6 seed in the Big Ten Tournament. We talked to Cory to preview the match.
I think just staying aggressive. If I can get another one, I'm going to keep trying to be aggressive towards defenders, getting a couple crosses and as many shots as I can. And still going to keep playing the team ball, do the best in that sense. And then I think I had a quote earlier was talking about whoever gets the goal gets the goal. So as long as we're playing good, I don't really care. I don't know if it's really going to affect our team as much. Maybe it does a couple teams that are used to warm weather. But every time around this year it gets pretty cold, so I think we're used to it.
Indiana and Ohio State have met once this season. Indiana got a 2-0 win here in Bloomington over the Ohio State Buckeyes on a Sunday afternoon. This will also be an afternoon match on Friday, and what should be a very cold match. Pregame temperatures should be around 34 degrees, so it will be a very cold day up at Grand Park, but this team loves to play in the cold weather. Coach Yeagley talked about it, and he also talked about what Ohio State will challenge IU with.
Well, I mean, they're pretty big and athletic, and, I thought that Abdi is one of the better midfielders in the conference. Quite honestly, I think he's one of the better midfielders in the country. So wherever he goes, we have to be really aware of, and he affects the game. Cole is a handful up top, and they got some really good athletes in the wings, and they have some size. So I thought we controlled the game well and weren't able to kind of get them into rhythm. They're dangerous, and they're obviously, when we played them, they had a couple losses. I think that was kind of right in the beginning of their kind of a bad run for them. And obviously now they've had a couple, big wins and feeling good. So it's going to be a certainly different motivation for them this time around.
We now welcome in Eddie Cotton for our Analyst Corner on the Quest for 9 Report. Eddie, you were on the call on Monday. What did you see out of that IU team in the 1-0 win over Penn State?
I saw an Indiana team that's much different than it was last year. Now, last year, of course, the same thing happened in the first round of the Big Ten tournament for Indiana. They had to take it all the way to overtime after a team parked the bus against them and they struggled to find the back of the net. The difference between that team and this year's team is the quality of chances Indiana was able to get. There were so many different options that they were able to use on the attack. It just seemed like they were going up against a goalkeeper having the best day of their lives in Josh Levine, legitimately saving pretty much everything on net until that final goal from Cory. But if you're a Hoosier fan and just a general soccer fan, you have to be excited by all of the opportunities that Indiana created, and it warrants an expectation that this team will be able to score more than just one goal in extra time moving forward in the Big Ten tournament.
And moving forward in the Big Ten tournament brings up the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Hoosiers got a 2-0 win over the Buckeyes in the middle of their scoreless streak. It should be an interesting matchup. They just beat Michigan State. What should we expect from this matchup?
Well, Ohio State's a team that's riding hot right now, and they've been riding hot all season. They're performing way beyond expectations because a majority of their team are freshmen, and they brought in a top 10 recruiting class. So it's been these youthful players that have come up and played better than anyone could have predicted or assumed would have come from Ohio State. With that said, they're going to be a team that's going to look to do the same thing that Penn State did. Bear you down, play physical, and they're going to look to their guys like Abdi Mohammed, one of the best midfielders in the Big Ten, to try and just get a goal on the counterattack. And I don't think that's going to be something to really harp on too much from the Ohio State perspective. I think it'll be almost a similar result to what we saw here in Bloomington earlier on in the season. 2-0 maybe, potentially. Indiana's going to do the exact same thing they did against Penn State, another team that tried to park the bus against the Hoosiers. They're going to break through. They're going to score goals.
So we will talk to you 2:30 on Friday at Grand Park in Westfield. It will be very cold. We'll be bundled up, but we will be up there. You can follow along at IDS Men's Soccer for updates throughout. But that's going to do it here for the Quest for 9 Report. So for Eddie Cotton, I'm Josh Eastern. We'll talk to you next time.
Someone help him, man. Unlucky. Good look. Bannock, find Bannock.